Hey guys, I'm back. I want to talk about this has come up before, and I've had people disagree with me. I had heard this, I think, in a continuing education. I don't really remember. I take my continuing education under my all lines insurance adjuster license, not like most public adjusters will take it through TAPIA, the Texas Association of Public Insurance Adjusters, because lawyers give those. And I work for lawyers. My boss has created this area of law, so unless there's some new case law or something I really want to know, or policy change that I might not know about other than that, or precedents being set, an interpretation of policy language, I don't need to take it from them. So, but you cannot solicit, public adjusters cannot solicit new clients during a natural disaster. Now, a natural disaster obviously is a hurricane, a mudslide, a forest fire, or something along those lines that have to be considered a natural disaster. But the Texas Insurance Code is very explicit in its section 4102, which applies to public adjusters. 4102.151 provides that a license holder may not solicit or attempt to solicit a client for employment during the progress of a loss-producing natural disaster occurrence. So the question is how come all the public adjusters run down to, Rockport when Harvey hit, and they're setting up camp and they're all over the place? I mean, days, hours after it happened. I mean, they're probably on the outskirts waiting to come in. The only reason I know this is because I was invited down there by a bunch of teachers to come speak to them, and like they're everywhere. I just drove down for the day, which is 2.5 hours, and they were everywhere. And I thought we weren't supposed to run natural disasters, but so what is the time limit if you can't run them? Do you wait a week? Do you wait 2 weeks? Is it 30 days? Like, I don't think that's very set out. But obviously not within days or hours of the hurricane hitting the coast. But anyway, this common sense prohibition recognizes that consumers are vulnerable during natural disasters, and that travel within a disaster zone should be limited to emergency responders. So, okay, given that, emergency responders were down in Galveston during Hurricane Ike for months, because it just decimated the area. So they wouldn't even let you over the causeway unless you were a first responder, or you actually had a home there, and you had to prove you had a home there. So if that goes for months, then I guess public adjusters shouldn't be able to get in there until then. But I don't really know, because it's not set out. It just says common sense. So, my common sense is different than yours probably, but I just want to say that I have a lady, so we had 82-mile-an-hour winds here in Spring on June 21st, and a lady 6 houses down the street from me had a tree fall on her roof, and it was significant. I mean, a big pine tree, and it took probably a third of her house, 2-story. So it was upper, so it affected the bottom. But first thing that happened was somebody came out and got her to sign. She's Asian, she's Vietnamese, got her to sign their water mitigation contract, and then kind of didn't give her a copy of it. So she didn't really know what she signed. So a neighbor who I'd represented before said, call Sharon, call Sharon, call Sharon. And then another neighbor gave me her phone number, and I called her, and she said that she doesn't even know what she signed, and they didn't give her a copy. And in Texas you have a 72-hour cool down period where you can actually rescind that contract. That goes on public adjusters too, but she didn't even get a copy of it. So I told her, I'm not giving you advice, but consider this, because you may not have hired them for water mitigation. You could have easily hired them to build it back for insurance money. Like, you don't know what you signed. You need to know exactly what you signed. As soon as you sign it, they need to give you a copy of it, and you need to push them. If you don't get a copy, consider rescinding it within that 72 hours, and then saying, hey, give it to me. And now that I've calmed down, because this lady said she's so beside herself, because it was her mother and her daughter. She's a single mom, and they were so scared. They were in the house and hovered on the other corner, because they didn't know what happened. They didn't know if their house was going to fall in on them, and they couldn't go out. So she was in a very vulnerable spot. Again, it wasn't a natural disaster, but it was equivalent to that. And somebody came along and got her to sign something, didn't give her a copy of it, which is typical. And but I say to those people, take a minute, stop. It's not an emergency. You don't have to hire them right now, today, right now. It's not going to make a difference. They can't work in your house anyway. So I say, take a step back. Always know what you're signing. Don't sign on somebody's iPad if they can't immediately give you a copy of it or show you what you're signing. That it happens 99% of the time when I get on a claim, somebody signs something they don't even know what they've signed. But anyway, I just want to put that out there on soliciting under a natural disaster and the common sense reasons why you're supposed to stay away. Stay safe and be prepared.